You gotta have tea. That's what actually ferments and makes the kombucha. It really tastes
Which is your tea? You've got lavender, rose hips, and
These are all
rooibos.
3 teas, and you can look.
Okay.
This is the green, black, and white.
Oh, okay. So
If
these
you
are
want to
all
pass them
awesome.
around and smell them and look at them, they all 3 of the kind of teas give different properties to the kombucha. I use mostly green, but I throw in a little spoonful of white, a little spoonful of the black, just so that they have those properties in it as well.
Does it matter if it's got caffeine or not?
It should not matter if it has caffeine.
Yeah, because that's done by the time you put just a little bit of.
Yeah. No, it does not matter if it doesn't have caffeine. You can definitely use caffeine.
Oh,
Yeah.
but should you need to? I wonder if the caffeine is that much in it by the time it's.
Good. The caffeine stays the same. However much is in there is in there. You know, it doesn't get eaten away or anything by the mother.
Certainly a lot to do though.
Good. Well, yeah, because you're having a fourth a cup of tea in your whole bottle.
Exactly.
You know,
So it can't have any much.
Yeah. But if caffeine bothers you a lot, I'd definitely go decaf. You know, why not? Yeah. So this little guy, this is the SCOBY or the mother. I'm gonna pull one out and just pass it around for you so you can feel it. I know Sarah especially loves that. That one is the rooibos.
Gosh, they're so good.
Come on out here, buddy.
It looks like ham.
I know.
It looks like.
Here, this one is just going to go in the compost, so you can touch it and do whatever you like with it.
Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I could just.
What is it?
I know you've told me before, but it's just impossible to.
I know. It's a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, and that's what SCOBY stands for.
And you just buy that?
But how
Well, I'm
does
going to
this
give you one. So it grows a new one every
We
time.
were not
every
taking
week.
anything home.
So
No.
we're not taking one home? You might by the end of it. You know what it makes me think of as a placenta. Which may not help at all in its cause.
I just want to know how that becomes something you can look at and hold.
I know.
Where does it come from?
I know. It's a miracle, but that's all I can say. But it grows.
But I still don't. I mean, I must be really thick because I'm not getting where.
If you put a glass of sugary tea on the counter, it's going to make one of these eventually.
How much sugar in a jar that size?
1 cup.
1 cup sugar.
Yeah,
And
a
then-
4th cup. I'm going to send instructions too. 1/4 cup tea, 1 cup of sugar, the SCOBY, and thyme.
I have a question. So with Whole30 being so anti-sugar, then how's the sugar okay?
They don't mind it. They don't mind it because the benefits are so high with the probiotics and stuff that they don't.
I guess consumed in the fermentation process too.
The sugar, actually, I was reading today, and it takes like 30 days for the sugar to be entirely eaten out of the jar. And at that point, it'd be too sour to drink. It'd be pure vinegar. You couldn't take it. They said I do mine for 2 weeks. Some people like to do a week. I like 2. I think it. Well, for me, 1 week is too sweet. I don't like it at all. But at 2, it's about right. And I like giving it a longer time to develop more properties, more probiotics, more various things that are in there. And like if I leave a count and leave them out, or even in the refrigerator, the little jars, when I rebottle them, they'll start growing one in there. I know.
And you were talking about the sugar content after 2 weeks.
After 2 weeks, it's starting to lessen a little bit, but it still hasn't. The sour taste is more the bacteria breaking down the minerals in the tea, and that's what gives it the more sour taste. So the sugar's still there. I would have thought it was less, but I don't know that it is. No. But it does break the sugar down into glucose and fructose, which is easier to digest for us. So, yeah, but the Whole30, they don't say no kombucha. So.
They actually on Whole30 on Facebook, they had an article about their belief with
kombucha and sugar.
What did they say?
They said because it's part of the fermentation process and because it creates something so valuable and healthy and nutritious that it overpowers the negativity of the sugar. And so they were talking about buying like processed, like looking for the sugar content in the ingredient list. And,
Yeah.
but they're like, people look at
So are those two both acceptable brands? Because that's the one.
This is the same brand, it's got a different
okay.
label, but I've got this, cause this is the strain plain up, it's tea and sugar, and I wanted you guys to try it, so,
Compared to your homemade.
yeah. Go ahead and, whoever's got a cup or,
How did they
And
get
then-
theirs so busy?
I think they probably bottle it and then let it ferment for a while longer. Here's another one to try too, this is an experiment, this has, I put little pieces of ginger in the bottom and that's supposed to up the carbonation content quite a bit, so we can, whenever you're ready, open that, and try that. So,
I do that with mine. And a little
You
bit
do
of
what?
turmeric.
Really? That's a good idea.
So, other things about kombucha,
That sounds like they say they have for sugar.
trying to think.
2 grams.
Oh, as far as the sugar content, the standard therapeutic dosage is 4 ounces. That is gonna give you all your benefits and all of that, which is only a fourth of the bottle. So I drink one every day and it doesn't bother me, but some people it bothers them a lot. They get, you could get digestive upset, diarrhea, or just not feel very
Do you
good.
have a whole one of these today?
Yeah. Sorry, Lee.
Oh, yeah, it's not supposed to be taken. Well, that's got some carbonation.
So decarbonation is clearly effective when you put the ginger in there.
It does work.
It works.
And it's really tasty. I like that.
When did you put the ginger one in, Terry?
The rooibos one, because that's what I had that week.
And it's good for you. Just, I use like 3 pieces of the ginger and just a 4th teaspoon of it. I think I got that idea from you, right?
No, I think you told me,
Okay.
but I don't know.
From somewhere.
So all you do is, it's 16 cups of water for a jar this size, and you'll have the little mother in there. You take her, take her out and bottle up take her out, save about a cup and a half of the kombucha that's already brewed. I like to just give it a rinse usually, because it gets little threads and stuff coming off of it. You don't have to, but it's just more appealing to me to rinse them. Drink up.
So Terry, did you make all those?
Well, every time you brew, it's gonna make another one. You'll have 2 sitting in there. And so you just throw one away and sometimes it just gets thicker. It'll just it'll make it together, and sometimes it just forms a separate one sitting there.
So is this the ginger?
So it's really easy to get new ones. And if it gets too thick, you wanna separate it, and because otherwise it'll ferment so fast.
Just cut it in half?
Just pull it apart.
Wow.
Yeah, and you put any size piece in here, and it'll just grow to the size of the jar.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
you could
It's
just
so
pull that thing.
cool.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So I just bought, take out the mother, rinse her off, save a little bit, and put this in bottles. Another fun thing to do is put about that much juice in the bottom of whatever flavor you feel like. This one, I believe, has cherry juice in it, and that's you probably taste the taste in there. And I get sometimes that cherry juice concentrate, just so I
That's
have
this one?
less juice. And then, once you do that, just leave it on the counter for a few more days to let it ferment some more, and it'll get more carbonated too, because it has a little more boost of sugar again. So you can just decide whatever flavors you like, if you like plain or ginger, the rooibos, the mixture,
Which is rooibos?
the brownish one.
This one.
So would you-
And then could you,
Oh, sorry.
Could you add a lot of herbs, like different herbs, to make it more medicinal? Or do you, what's your opinion on
I
that?
don't think, well, depending on what it was.
Yeah.
You don't want anything that has an oily base to it, or it could kill the culture. Like Earl Grey tea, you don't want to
Right.
use, because that's got bergamot oil in it.
What about like lavender leaves or thyme or regular?
The red one has lavender leaves in it. Yeah, I think absolutely you could. And
Like
there's-
just dried herbs?
Yeah,
What even about like nettle comfrey? Would that pull out those constituents?
I don't know why it wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be kind of like making a
yeah,
tincture.
yeah,
Okay.
for infusion,
Yeah.
yeah.
I need the more basic class. I somehow got into the advanced class.
A cup of sugar,
Okay,
a fourth a cup of tea,
all right,
a mother,
okay.
and water.
I'm impressed.
it.
Wow.
That is it.
I stayed in an Airbnb for a month and he made it with hops,
Oh, wow. Did it taste like beer?
a little bit,
Yeah, interesting,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't do that, do you?
And probably just exactly the same way, you just add some hops in there when you boil it up, you know. So the sugar, the tea, and whatever extra tea you wanna put in, you just bring it to a boil and then let it totally cool. You don't wanna cook the girl. And then strain it, just strain all the organic matter out, and there you go. You wanna strain it pretty good. I usually strain it, with a bigger strainer and then a fine strainer.
Could you show us what you
Yeah.
use?
Mhm.
And Terry, do you have a tea that you like using best?
Any kind of a green loose leaf tea works great. Yeah, yeah. So when I'm doing it, I use my I just pour it out and I'm pretty sure you're gonna be bringing one of these home with you.
I think I can buy it. When I want it, I'll probably.
Observation
Here-
panel. Here you got $8 here and probably, I don't know how much for tea, so. Pretty
They're
cheap to me.
expensive though to buy.
They are expensive to buy, I know. It was like with Maddie being home, all three of us drink one a day, and it's gonna be like $12 a day. So
Yeah.
I upped the production when Maddie came home. I got another big jar. But I was on such a restricted diet, even so much more than the Whole30 for so long. It was like it became like, okay, this is the item of eating I'm living for. It's the one delicious thing of the day or something. Not that the rest of the food wasn't, but it was, I don't know.
And mine seemed more like a substitute for Goza, you know?
For what?
Goza, a beer.
Oh.
So it's a real sour ale, you know? It's like, okay, so this is a
Yeah.
substitute.
If you made it with hops, though, it may taste a lot like beer.
I
There is alcohol in the kombucha, for sure. It ranges between 0.5% and 3%. 3% is getting pretty far up there.
Yeah,
Most-
3% is what's in some beer,
Like
isn't it?
my beer or something.
Yeah.
I mean, mine's never gotten like that. Maddie says though she's had ours before and felt a little buzz.
Really?
I don't know, which I'm surprised given how much she drinks. She can feel anything from a kombucha. And I have felt like a tiny little bit, like if I drank one on an empty stomach, I felt just like that slight, like, huh. It's like,
Huh.
yeah.
Well,
But
that, maybe that person didn't even know it was that. Maybe they just
think they said
wouldn't have.
in the early 2000s they were selling it at the stores and it had really high alcohol
Yeah,
content.
yeah.
And they stopped
Yeah, they-
selling it
they
at Whole Foods
they
until
did. They figured out how to keep the alcohol content down. Yeah. And then in other places, like Whole Foods I've been in when we've been on vacation, they have two different sets. They have the one you have to be over 21 to buy, and a brown bottle that has a higher alcohol content in it. Which I've had them both side by side. They don't seem even the slightest bit different, but whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the basic thing. You pour it off and you put it in your bottles. You can leave it on the counter. It doesn't really matter. It's just going to keep fermenting a little bit.
Terry, could you go back to the beginning just
Yes.
step by step?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I will. You are going to start with your bottle, and you'll have your culture in there.
So it's
And
sitting
I
on
will
the,
send
it's
you
sitting on
home.
the back, it's sitting on the bottom,
Yes.
okay,
And I will send you home with a culture and the starter,
okay,
you know. And so then you will put in your pan 16 cups of water, a cup of sugar, and a fourth a cup tea, and then whatever else you want to add. Another teaspoon of black and
in
green,
a pan,
or like a pot.
Okay.
Just to boil it.
okay.
And then,
Is it important to have organic sugar?
not necessarily. I like to, but
Okay.
and there really isn't a sugar substitute. It just needs to eat sugar. That's
Fourth
yeah.
cup of tea.
And I have it all
cup of
written down
sugar,
for you.
Okay,
so,
right.
And then just bring it to a boil and put a lid on it and just let it cool to room temperature. And then get some straining system going and just pour it in there, strain off the tea, you ladies, and then pour your strained liquid, your tea, your sweetened tea, into the jar, and then you'll just cover it with a cloth and put a rubber band around it, and that's just to keep the bugs out and things from falling into it.
Okay,
And if you get fruit flies and whatnot, they would be in there in a heartbeat. You know.
and then wait 2 weeks.
And then start testing it after a week and just see what it tastes like to you. Yeah, I find it takes 2 weeks, but yeah.
And then you pour it into.
And then you pull your little, then you take your little mother out of there, set her somewhere, pour off about 1.5 cups of what's in here to use for the starter culture. Put the rest of it in bottles,
1.5 cups.
about 1.5 cups. You know.
And
Could-
put it back
Could you
in.
define the starter again?
The starter's just your leftover from last time.
Okay,
So you have a little bit of something,
okay.
yeah, that with the.
But there's nothing, there's nothing different about the starter.
No, it's just what's left
It's
from the last
whatever,
time.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And it's
And then you can start again that day, as you're
Yeah.
filling your bottles, you start
you
again.
fill your bottles, you know, I start the tea heating, and I fill my bottles, and then I just leave the mother sitting in there with the leftover starter until the tea is cool, pour it in there later in the afternoon.
Where do you get that big thing?
I got that on Amazon.
That is one.
It's very big. It's
So
2.5
is that-
gallons, I know.
Oh
And
my gosh.
we have 2 of them, plus 2 of these, I know, it's nuts.
And so do you use
So that's
the
for 2.5
spigot?
of those.
What?
Do you use the sticks?
I use the spigot just to test it sometimes,
Oh,
but
okay.
now I know that it's gonna be 2 weeks, so I rarely
Okay.
test it, but sometimes I do. You know, I made a totally plain one last week, and I was hoping it'd be done for you guys just to see what just tea and sugar tastes like, but it is still, it's not done, it's still really sweet. But maybe you wanna taste that and see what really sweet tastes like.
How do you keep track of what's?
So that's a week old?
Yeah, this is a week. Anybody wanna try it? I'll just.
I do, sure. How do you keep track of what's at what stage?
I just know that there's one big jar that is the
they're all-
other week.
Oh,
It's one big, you know.
so it's not all done at the same time, then you do some every week?
Well, before Maddie came home, I just did, I had 2 of these and the big one, and Rick and I would just do it every 2 weeks. Now I got another one of these jars, and I do it on the other week, cause I can't store all that if I was gonna do it all in the same week.
Oh, okay.
There's too many bottles.
See,
This
for
is
me, this
sweeter.
doesn't taste like fermented.
Right.
It tastes just like tea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So when you sit it longer, it gets that more
Yeah.
fermented.
And
Yeah.
That one.
yeah. And this one, let's see, this is, it's grown another one even in that week, a little thin guy.
Jeez.
Does it matter?
Alan, you, every time I touch it, he breathes in.
Does it matter which one you throw out, which one you keep?
No, I just get the one that just seems to look
Healthy.
hearty to me.
Is it painful to throw it away?
That's
what
right.
you-
Yes!
You should start selling them.
It's really
$5 just throw me on
It's
the
the new friendship bread, isn't it?
I know, it is the new friendship bread. It's like the little crunch that you give to someone. Here,
Yeah.
take care of this every 2 weeks for the rest of your life. It's like, but it's crazy. It's like I feel a lot of affection for her. I really do. It's nuts. How many times
Now Terry, before I even knew about this, because I researched kombucha on NPR, and then they said the science is out on it. So, but Whole30 says. So tell me the.
There's a lot of claims and a lot of myths and a lot of everything out there about it. What I can tell you, what they have, the people that I trust, like have done independent research on it and various things. What it all has is at least one beneficial yeast, acetobacter, which is a beneficial bacteria, acetic acid, which is an antimicrobial and can help stabilize blood sugar, gluconic acid, which is a pH regulator, and then most batches also contain compounds that are pain relievers, anti-arthritic, antispasmodic, and liver protective. That is what is in there. But you also hear, I drank kombucha and my cancer got cured, or it's high in B vitamins, or it's this, or it's that. This is the minimum of what is in there. Again, some people don't react well to it. For some people, if their gut is in a real disarray, or they have, bacterial overgrowth or anything, this can just aggravate it, and you can almost get flu feeling from, and if that works, just need to back off and work on healing your gut up until, it does work.
That happens
And
to
it-
Sandy, my friend.
She may have-
Very sensitive.
She may have, bad bacterial overgrowth, that it just doesn't work very well.
I mean, she makes it, she does it, but
Yeah.
she's gotta,
But she's a
Be
tiny
careful.
sensitive thing anyway.
Is there a time of day that's better to drink it than others?
I haven't found that to anything for me, given that there is caffeine in it. I mean, if you're sensitive, you would want to drink it earlier rather than later, but it hasn't bothered me. Abby and Patrick drink a ton of it. They're like go on kombucha missions when they go on vacation and get local kombucha wherever they go, and they love it. But Abby can't. A whole bottle is really pushing it for her. For her
Really?
stomach to really get
Wow.
Yeah,
acted up.
I do have, because I was in the hospital last year with a gut infection, and this is why I'm doing Whole30 is to heal. And I'm only doing 4 ounces a day right now.
That's really, really wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably overdoing it right now,
But if it takes brewery tasting.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not hard, it's just persistent, it's just gonna keep sitting there eating.
So how many bottles will one of those make?
Oh gosh, 6, maybe,
So if I wanted to start 2, I could do.
probably 7, and then your starter,
I think I'm gonna do 2 then. So I'll do 1, and then as soon as it makes another SCOBY, then I'll start another one, right?
Mhm.
So I could make like the SCOBY in a week. It would produce another one
2
in a
weeks,
week.
in 2 weeks it will.
Okay.
But then it can just sit there and wait
Okay.
too.
Okay.
Like this is like my little SCOBY nursery, and there's a whole bunch of them in there, and I just give them some fresh tea every week, and they're fine.
Okay.
You may have answered this too. You may have answered this. What's the shelf life once the 2 weeks is up and you bottle them? How long can they
In the
last?
refrigerator,
For, yeah,
Yeah.
long time.
yeah.
Because it kind of stops the fermentation when you freeze it.
Refrigerator slow way down,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And it may continue very, very slowly getting more vinegary, but I haven't had any.
Yeah, if it's not gonna be like 6 months, I would wait to change it.
Yeah, but I don't know that it would matter if you did.
Okay.
And they say to refrigerate it, but once Whole Foods had the GTs on sale, and Patrick got, I think, 3 cases of it, and he just left it sitting on a box on the floor of their kitchen. And Abby and I kind of freaked out. I'm like, it says refrigerate. He's like, what's gonna happen? And
But the
I'm
same
like,
refrigerator with
right.
everything vinegar and you don't get to.
Right, right. Yeah.
Does this have to sit out, or could it be in a cabinet?
I think it could be in a cabinet, actually, just fine. It just wants air, and there'd be air in there.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. The warmer, the faster. So it could take longer in the winter, if your house is chilly or whatever,
All right.
So the cabinet, it may even go faster. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
This is really helpful. So if we wanna order from you tea, then what do we do?
I'll just send around what the prices are and you just tell me what
Okay.
what you'd like.
It's easier than I thought.
It is, it's really, really easy. I mean, if you can make tea, you can make kombucha. And what I hear is beer is basically the same process, that all beer has a mother in it as well. Like, who knew?
And vinegar test?
Vinegar does too, like good vinegar.
Yeah.
It's funny because that Bragg's apple cider vinegar, it always says with the mother, and it's
Yeah.
like, wow, I don't see any mother in here.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't. There's nothing floating in it, but maybe in their big vat they have it or something.
We sell raw apple cider vinegar at the spa, and if people are using it as quickly and we're not going through it, you can the mother
It starts to make it out. Okay.
Yeah, and then people are like, oh, what's in the vinegar? And we're like, oh, it's the fermentation process. It's not. That's actually a really good thing.
Yeah,
Spread it all over. your
it's
face.
alive. Yeah.
Well, is it because it's sold and stored generally in the refrigerated section? That it doesn't?
Maybe.
Because I store mine in the refrigerated section,
Do you?
because my mom always told me to do that. Then when
Yeah.
you said you don't,
Uh-uh.
I wondered, but I wonder if that's maybe the,
Yeah, maybe so.
What, your vinegar?
Bragg's.
Oh.
Yeah.
Keep it in the refrigerator. Once it's
I
open,
never
she's
know,
right.
but I go through it so fast that it's
True.
like, yeah. Even if it did grow something, it's already vinegar. It's not like
Well,
it's
it's
gonna
not,
get like more vinegar.
Mhm.
You know.
it's not in there when you buy it, so, you know, it could have been hanging around for months,
Yeah. Yeah.
but maybe once it's open.
We were wanting to get hops.
Probably Frontier Herbs sells them. I'll look. Be interesting to try.
I have hops,
Phoenix.
actually. Yeah, Phoenix has it.
Phoenix Herbs.
Mount Rose, I get everything out of Mount Rose Herbs because I don't have wholesale.
Uh-huh.
They have one.
Uh-huh.
It's so nice sitting in your kitchen, Terry. I
Yeah,
mean, it's so
wonderful.
pretty, yeah, the windows.
Maybe you can probably stop filming. Goodbye, Corey.
Does anybody have one last statement to make before we start
Does
filming?
anyone want to say anything to the team?